डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Welcome back again. This is Disha Parekh delivering lectures for Omkar E in the subject software engineering. Today we will be looking at unit 2 of block 1. What is unit 2 about? It is about software project planning, tools and techniques. Let us see what we are going to deal with in this unit. First is WBS. We call it as work breakdown structure. Second is software sizing. We will be looking at what is software sizing. Third, we would be looking at as cost estimation model. Generally, remember that this particular model was the one which we discussed in unit 1 also. All right. Then we will be looking at COCOMO model, which is very, very important. All right. Lastly, we will be looking at software documentation. All right. Now, let us start with the introductory part of this unit. This unit says that software project planning encompasses of all the estimations. Now, what are all the estimations? The estimations means the cost estimation that we will be seeing, right? Then the resource estimation, what all kind of resources you will require, right? Then it even estimates the time, the schedule, how much time you require, what would be the starting date, what would be the ending date of the process, right? So, all estimations. Then risk analysis, which we discussed in unit 1 about risk management strategies, right? So, this even includes risk analysis. Then scheduling, again it is bound to the time frame, that is the time limit that we are going to provide to our customers. SQA, SCM planning. SQA stands for software quality assurance and SCM stands for software configuration management. All right. Now, the second point, which is very important, is work breakdown structure. All right, usually known as WBS. Now, what is work breakdown structure? Basically, they are the one which is implemented and mainly used by project managers. Okay, so it is a tool used by project managers to break projects down into manageable pieces. Now, for example, if somebody tells you to work on the entire project, we cannot work on the entire project, but we divide that project into number of modules. All right. For example, you take software engineering as a subject. This is one subject. Now, if somebody tells you to learn the entire subject, you cannot learn the entire book, but yes, book is divided into chapters. Similarly, syllabus is divided into blocks. Blocks are further divided into units. All right. So, similarly, when I have a lot more project, I mean a very big, a very huge project, I divide that project into some manageable pieces. All right. And this is usually done by the project managers. They are used to set the project scope, where how much the project will be used, where it would be used, what would its scope be. All right. For everything, this WBS structure is used. Then it sets an agreement with the client about the deliverables. Now, when we are going to design a software for our client would be demanding something. We as a software engineer would be giving them something, right? Now, it comes to an agreement that yes, we will be providing you with ABC facilities, and if customers agree with that facility, then this helps in the deliverables, right? That we will be giving you A module in this month, B module in this month, C module in this month. That is how we divide it. Then, to create WBS, substantial amount of time, energy and people is required. Mind well, you cannot divide your project as it is. No, it requires lot of energy, it requires lot of logic also, and it requires people who are well experienced in dividing a project into different modules. All right. Now, this is a definition given by Project Management Body of Knowledge. All right. They say that WBS is a deliverable oriented hierarchical decomposition of the work to be executed by the project team. So my project team cannot work on the entire project simultaneously. They will be working on different modules first, all right, and then they will integrate those modules, and now it would be a the whole project, all right. So it is a deliverable oriented hierarchical decomposition. It starts from the top, it is broken down into pieces, all right, and when you combine those bottom line pieces, then you reach to the top, which is the ultimate model. I'll show you how. Just look at the guidelines. I say it's something that it starts from the top, right? Top level should always represent the final deliverable or a project. So your final delivery of a project always lies on the top of the model, all right. This top level is then divided into packages. We call them as sub deliverables, which contain the work packages. So from the top level, it is broken down into a few pieces, all right, and we call it as sub deliverables, right. Then not all elements of WBS is defined at the same level. You cannot define all the deliverables at the same level. No, it is going to be a hierarchical, all right. Then work package defines work, duration and cost for that particular task. As said, my top level is divided into many such sub deliverables or work packages, all right. Now all these work packages will incur some kind of work, will be done in some XYZ time for some ABC money, all right. So it includes work, duration and cost for that particular task. Work package should not exceed 10 days of duration. You must know that any sub deliverable that you are going to do or you are going to code for should not exceed more than 10 days. Next, work packages should be independent of other packages, because if any other package has some problem, has encountered some problem, then my work package number 2, it should not affect to work package number 2. So modules should be independent of each other, right. Lastly, work packages should be very unique, all right. You need to keep your work packages very unique. This was about work breakdown structure. The next one is software sizing, all right. What is software sizing and why do we need it? First we will see what is software sizing. Now when I say software sizing, it means that what kind of size my project is going to be. Generally when we code, we see that yes, this particular program is of 100 lines of code. So we discuss that yes, 100 lines of code means it is quite a big program, right. So software size is also similar. It says that it can be either in line of code or function points. I'll just come back what is all LOC and what is FP, all right. What is the need of software sizing? To make valid comparisons across systems. When I want to make comparison between 1, 2 or 3 systems, I generally do the software sizing. What is its main purpose? Without it, productivity cannot be computed, all right. If I want to compute on what is my the productivity of my particular software, I have built one software, maybe A, I have built the other software, maybe B. Now compare both these softwares on the sizing and I can compare its productivity, whether A is producing a better result or B is producing a better result. Everything is compared with the help of software sizing. There are 2 types of software sizing. I mentioned something just before few minutes. One is LOC, that is we call it as line of code approach, and second is function point metrics, we call it as FP metrics, right. Let us see what is LOC approach, what is FP metrics. They both are very different, all right. To be very precise, LOC is a measure of the size of the system after it is built. Once you have built your entire system, your entire software, all right, after that you can measure your LOC, and LOC is nothing but the total lines of code. Whatever your software is, all right, maybe it is of 32,000 lines of code, then that 32,000 lines is called as LOC measure, all right. And FP, while function point is a measure of delivered functionality. Now within a software, I hope you know that there are lot many functions, right? We usually call it as methods or something, right? Now in my software is providing me with some functionality 1, then functionality 2, functionality 3. Now all these functionalities make my entire software. If I count those functionalities, all right, then I am counting on function point metrics, all right. So when you count those functionalities that you are going to deliver in your software, then counting of all those external components which is involved in it, it is called as FP metrics. We will see this basically more in detail in 2.7. Next is milestones, baseline, all right. They both are actually different keywords. Milestone is a different word, baseline is a different word. If you remember in unit 1, we saw something called as prototyping, right? Prototyping was a basic model, the very initial first model, right? So baseline is also going to be the same thing, all right. Now just read this line. Baseline is an agreed description of the attributes of product at a time which serves as basis of defining the change. So baseline will work as a prototype kind of thing which will help my customers to know that what kind of project I am going to deliver to them, all right. So it is going to be an agreement which will be describing all the functionalities that I am going to provide with my product, right. Now it is a single work product or a set of work products. It can be a single work product or it can be more than one work products together, all right. Then its goal is to reduce the software project's vulnerability. That means if my project is having any sort of weakness, all right, then in order to remove that weaknesses within my project, I use baseline, right. Its use is in configuration management. And now what is milestone? When you are traveling to certain place, all right, on the highways you would be seeing there are milestones attached, right. Milestones stating that yes, now you have reached this many kilometers, you are left with this many kilometers, right. So similarly, milestone is also a point which shows how far the project has progressed. For example, if you have agreed upon giving a project or a product to your customer within 2 weeks or maybe 2 months, right, then after a month how much your progress is done, right, how much is your progress after 1 month. So that and all comes into milestone. So baseline and milestones are basically two different words making one, that is milestones baseline. Let us conclude our session here. Let us quickly revise the session what we have done today. First is WBS structure, which we call it as work breakdown structure. We saw what is software sizing, basically two more approaches, that is LOC approach and FP metrics. We will be of course seeing both of this further in the next lecture. And milestone baseline, as said, milestone is something different, baseline is something different, all right. After this, in the next session we will be seeing cost estimation techniques, which we just saw brief in software sizing, that is LOC estimation and FP estimation. In the next we will be seeing is the documenting the software, that means the preparing the documentation part of the software, which is very essential. Then we will be seeing activity network diagram, all right. What is activity network? How do we perform the diagram of activity? I will teach you how to perform that diagram, have to draw that diagram. Then we will be seeing empirical relationship, effort distribution, because I am going to conduct some software, okay, I cannot put my all the emphasis only on coding, no. We have analysis part, we have design part, we have testing part, we have implementation part, that means the deployment part, then all this also has certain effort to be put, so that is effort distribution. And lastly we will be seeing is COCOMO model, which is based on empirical estimation technique, all right. So see you in the next session. Thank you. स्वाध्यायः परमः